All right, people. What is going on? Happy Wednesday. I hope you're doing well. It is a little loud in the back of me, so I'm gonna try to talk as loud as I possibly can. But I am here at the conference in Austin, Texas. Again, I want to say, the only reason I'm here is for you all. The only reason I'm here is for you all. I'm at a conference right now. It's a business mastermind conference, and pretty much what we're learning is how to improve our programs and make it the most premier program there possibly is. So I'm in a room with, amazing coaches, amazing people in the space, learning how to truly make this the premier online coaching program for you all. So again, flew out here, got in last night, 1 a.m. Literally, like red eyes right now. Like I can't even. I'm very tired, but just know that I'm here for you. And when I leave this conference, I'm going to leave with some things that is going to make this program not great, but absolutely amazing. Not even amazing, but extraordinary. But of course, every single Wednesday we do these calls, so I had to make sure that you guys had some content, something to look forward to this Wednesday. So again, the only thing that I ask of you is that you do not treat this call like a recording, right? Of course, this is pre-recorded. I'm not here live with you, but I want you to act as if I'm here live. Act as if I'm here live talking to you. So of course, what I'm going to ask you to do is like I actually do on all the calls is I want you to go down below and I want you to put your wins. You can either put them in the comments. I want you to put them in the chat. There should be a chat box right next to this video. So I want you to put it in chat right there, just so I can know what those wins are. You all, you know me. You know I'm going to come back and I'm going to see the wins. All right. So don't just ignore that request. Go in there, put your wins in there. Give me one win from everybody, so I can see what you can celebrate this week. But today I wanted to talk about something that a lot of you struggle with, and again, it's all mental, right? The reason why we structure this program 90% mindset, 10% health and fitness, because your fitness journey is a mental game. It is not a game of what meal plan you're going to get. It's not a game of what workout you're going to do. It's not a game of your macronutrient split. While those things are important, it is a mental game. And a lot of people give up because they mentally clock out. And a lot of what you sometimes struggle with, right? And again, it's because you're human, right? I still struggle with this to this day, right? I'm in a cutting phase right now where I'm really focusing on leaning out, particularly for the summer. So I'm on the scale every single day, and the scale bothers me, right? So I wanted to talk today about this guide that I put together, and I promise you, I will absolutely throw this in the course because I know a lot of the guides that I go through, you all want access to as well. So I definitely will post this in the course. Whether you're elite, gold member, you will have this in your course. So definitely be sure to check the course out. Definitely by the end of this week, I'll post it in there so you can see it. I'll probably maybe even post it in the Facebook group as well. But I wanted to talk about the things to remember when the scale doesn't change. Again, because I know mentally we can get on the scale, right? We get on the scale and then, 3 days, 6 days, 8 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks go by, and the scale is kind of it's not going in the direction we wanted to go in, right? So now we start to get sad. We start to question: Am I making progress? Am I going forward? So I wanted to talk about some of the things that you need to understand when the scale does not change. Because when you're on this journey, it is very easy to think if the scale is not changing, then I'm not making progress. And a lot of us have been conditioned to think that the scale is the only measure of progress. In the program, we track three different measures of progress. So we do body fat on the scale, your body fat, your body weight, your body fat percentage, your progress photos, and your measurements. So really four in total. The reason why we do all of those is because we never want to just be reliant on the scale. If you're just relying on the scale, you'd be miserable all the time because sometimes the scale isn't moving, but sometimes you can see your measurements going down. So I wanted to talk about some things just to give you perspective of what to think about when the scale doesn't change, right? When the scale doesn't change. And the first thing, of course, to remember is that it's not always weight. What I found in coaching literally dozens of people at this point, almost hundreds, what I found is that most of the time, it's literally not even weight that they've gained, right? So what happens is the scale gives us this very one number, and by that one number, that's what we pretty much judge our whole progress and our whole journey based off of that one number. I probably don't have to explain it to you why that's a problem, right? So I want you to understand that it's not always weight. Now, and I want to go through some of the things that it can be on this call so you can understand exactly, okay, if you're saying, okay, coach, all right, I understand it's not weight, then what is it then, right? That's what we're going to talk about today. All right. So again, what influences weight change? One of the most effective ways to reduce the fear or apprehension towards weight change is to highlight the factors outside of actual fat loss gain that can influence it. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Number one, this is probably one of the biggest ones. It is water retention. Water retention. All right, you see the example that says individuals will weigh themselves on Monday morning after a busy and indulgent weekend, only to find they've added 1 to 2 pounds of weight. Right? Again, if you didn't adequately hydrate, you didn't drink enough water, if you had a lot of sodium maybe during the weekend because you went out to restaurants, and most times when you go into restaurants, the food is going to be a little higher in sodium, a little higher in fat, right? These can both lead to your body retaining water. So what it'll do is it'll increase your weight, right? But it's not actual fat. See, a lot of us don't understand the difference between weight, fat. Your weight is your body mass. So there are so many things that go into the number that is on that scale. That is why it's dangerous to just follow that. But then you have your body fat, because guess what? A lot of us don't care that, or a lot of us are not concerned that we gain weight. We're concerned that we gain fat. So when we see the extra 2 pounds on the scale, we're saying, no, I gained 2 pounds of fat. We're not saying weight, right? We don't want fat. Body fat and body weight are two different things. Your body fat is only one part of your body. It's the largest organ in your body, is your body fat, right? It's only one part of your body. So you have to understand that there's a difference. Body fat, body weight, right? And when you have the water retention, again, because this is what's included in your body mass, is the water in your body as well. If you're not adequately hydrated, right? If you're having more sodium, then you're going to see that number tick up. Which is why if you usually have a weekend out, and you even if you did your best to stay within your calories, but you had a weekend out and you were just eating some more outside food instead of cooking, most of the time you'll see that weight go up. And again, most of the time it's just an increase in sodium, because the things that you're eating outside are cooked with different things than you would cook it at home, right? So water retention is one of the biggest ones, and it's important to understand that with water retention, this is never permanent. It's never permanent, because once you actually start to adequately hydrate, once you start to drink more water, once you kind of get back into routine, you'll see the weight fall out again. It's never permanent. So have that in your head as you're thinking to yourself, listen, this isn't permanent, right? This is simply just water. Like, no, when you're going into a weekend, or even during the weekday, right? Even on the weekday, if you're not actively hydrated on Tuesday, and then you weigh in a little heavier Wednesday and Thursday, then you understand, right, that it could be water retention. Right? If you have something that was a little too salty the day before, right? You know that it could be the sodium that allows your body to store all of that water. So water retention is probably one of the most common ones. And it's important to remember, because a lot of us fall into this. We just don't know we're falling into it, right? We go out to eat and we don't know we're falling into it. We don't drink that much water and we don't even really realize it, right? I'm gonna take a sip of water as I'm talking to you, so I can set the example. Drink your water. Make sure you're drinking your water. You already know that that's a basic in this program. All right. So number one is water retention. Number two, muscle. Number two is muscle, right? If you are following any type of plan, of course, if you're in this program, so we put a big focus on not just cardio, but resistance training as well, because we know that resistance training is amazing for you. There are plenty of benefits, including fat loss, to resistance training. You know that you are going to gain muscle along the process, right? Now, a lot of us don't believe that we're gaining muscle, because sometimes we can't really see it that much. Right? We're like, oh, how am I gaining muscle? But I don't really feel toned or anything like that. Listen, toning, because toned is a word that a lot of people say, right? A lot of people don't really know what it means. Toned, like when you say, I just want to get toned, coach, I want to get toned. All that is a low enough body fat percentage and a high enough muscle percentage to actually see that muscle. That's all toning is. So a lot of times, the more you lean out, the more toned you look, because you're at a low body fat percentage, right? But as the guide says, muscle is more dense than fat tissue, right? While it's more difficult to gain than fat, the change or lack thereof in weight could be due to an increase in muscle mass, right? So again, you may have even lost fat but gained muscle, but the scale is giving you a very distorted image of your progress. Because if you gain that muscle, that's also going to show up on the scale. And guess what? Muscle is good. I said this a million times. If you've ever seen somebody who has lost a bunch of weight, but they have no muscle on their body, they look sick. They don't look okay. Why? It's because that's not a good thing. You are not supposed to be at a low body fat percentage and lose all your muscle. which is why we prioritize protein, which is why we make sure that even when you're doing a lot of cardio and you're moving, if you're still resistance training as well, right? Resistance bands, push-ups, you're still building your muscle along the way because that stuff is important. You have to, right? So understand that if you're looking at the scale, you're like, why isn't the scale moving? You absolutely could be gaining muscle, right? And know that that's a good thing, right? Know that that's a good thing. Muscle is a good thing. You want muscle on your body. But this is why it's important to not just rely on that scale. And we're going to talk about that going forward a bit. Just the mindset behind not relying on just that one number because it is dangerous for you, right? Lastly, food and water, right? Food and water. Are you consistently weighing yourself in the mornings, fully nude, after emptying your bladder, and cough? All right. Maybe you didn't do last week, right? Maybe you had a day or so where you weighed in midday, or you weighed in after dinner, or you weighed in after breakfast just because you forgot. Important to remember. Important to remember. Again, I say all the time, but we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. You should be weighing in after the bathroom, before food or drink. After the bathroom, before food or drink, right? So, of course, the best time to do this is in the morning, right? Wake up, go to the bathroom, hop on the scale, right? If you're weighing in at different times, you're weighing in at 5 p.m. one day, and the next day it's 11 p.m., and the next day it's 11 a.m., and the next day it's 10 a.m., and your body's in so many different types of states, you are going to see those numbers be out of whack in so many ways. Right? Because your body is literally digesting the things that you've intaken, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing it and your body has to be in the cleanest state it possibly can be in, which is right after you wake up, go to the bathroom, step on the scale. I had one, or actually a few of you were actually weighing. You had your scale on like a carpet or something like that. Make sure that you're putting your scale on a flat surface. And this is an important too. And I apologize for not saying this sooner. Make sure you're putting your scale on a flat surface, right? No carpet, so no like bath rug, nothing like that. Your scale needs to be on a flat surface in order for that number to be accurate. Because if it's not, that number can be screwed in a lot of ways, right? It kind of messes up the actual weight that it'll track for you, right? And I know for one of you, when we made that switch, it was a big change. So again, it's not like a little different. You want to make sure that it's on a flat surface so you can get those accurate numbers, right? So again, the scale is not the end all be all. If anything, the scale is like the bottom of the totem pole, right? It's something that matters. I'm not going to sit here and say that it doesn't matter, but in terms of what is the hierarchy of things, the scale is not number one, right? So what are those other progress markers? What are those things that you can look to say, okay, all right, cool, I am making progress. I am going forward. Number one, how are you even feeling? How are you feeling, right? I've said this plenty of times. This is kind of like the journey of a fitness journey, specifically weight loss, right? Or not really, not just weight loss, but any fitness journey. Number one is you start just feeling better, right? So you have a little more energy. You're not as groggy, right? You don't need coffee as much because you just have more natural energy in the morning. You're not feeling as fatigued. That's usually the first step, right? So it's not like a weight change, but usually the first step is you just feel a little better, right? That's number one, right? Number two is other people see it, right? So other people start to say, "Hey, oh wow, you look like you're losing some pounds. You look good. What are you doing? What gym are you going to? Did you get a personal trainer? Did you get a coach? Like, what'd you do?" That's usually number two. Other people you start getting random comments like, "You're looking good. You're looking good today. I love it. I love it." Right? You start to feel a little good about yourself. Then, unfortunately, the last thing is you actually see the progress, right? So you look in the mirror and say, "Oh wow, I look good." Right? Usually that is the absolute last step, right? But the first step is always, I'm just feeling better. So a great progress mark is literally just thinking about how your natural feeling is. And the thing is, life moves so fast that we don't really remember a lot of times where we were a year ago. We don't remember where we were a few months ago because we're just moving. Right? But a lot of times when we reflect and we just say, wow, look how much progress we're making, we can literally see that 4 or 5 months ago, I would have been extremely tired at 7 a.m. Right? 4 or 5 months ago, I would have never did that workout because I wouldn't have had the energy after work. So think about how your energy is and how you're generally feeling, and that would be a great progress marker for you, right? Do you have energy throughout the day? How do you feel in the morning when you get out of bed? How do you feel at work? Are you a little more alive at work instead of like dead at meetings all the time, right? Great progress marker because that's the beginning. That's the foundation, right? And if you're in the first few months of this program, you're in the beginning, right? You haven't gone anywhere. You have your whole life ahead of you. The journey is going to be a long journey. You're in the beginning, so appreciate the beginning because the beginning is what sets the foundation, and what sets the foundation sets you up for the rest of the journey, and it makes the rest of the journey 10 times easier. I'm telling you this not just from experience with my own personal journey, but with coaching clients as well and their journey and seeing how their journey went. Trust me on this. You will appreciate the journey, right? Number two is how are your fitness levels, right? How are your fitness levels? When you're walking on the treadmill for 20 minutes, does it feel a little easier than it did when you first started the program, right? Are you getting a little more repetitions in the gym with the same exact weight that you struggled with a few months ago or last month, right? Are you recovering a little faster? How are your fitness levels, right? Are you doing a little more weight than you did last time? Are you taking shorter rest times in between your sets, right, in the gym, right? When you go on that 20, 15-minute run, it's a little easier than it was before. How are your fitness levels? This is big because at the end of the day, your fitness progress is one of the pillars of you making sure that you consistently make progress, right, in your body and how you feel. So if you're making that fitness progress, right? If you're feeling a little better, if you're doing a little more reps, if that walk is getting a bit easier, right? You used to, you always do an hour walk a day, you do 30 minutes of walking a day, and over time that 30 minutes is getting easier and easier and easier. You're clearly making progress, right? So a lot of times mentally we get caught up because the way we define progress in our journey is only one thing. It's the scale. Only one thing, right? Or it's, oh, I don't look the way I want to yet, right? A lot of this journey is just about how you define progress. So if you say, coach, I don't really feel like I'm making progress. That's all depending on how you define progress. That's not actual progress, right? You may be coming to this program saying, oh, progress. I only care about my progress if I'm actually losing weight on the scale. They're looking at it wrong. I'm telling you, you're looking at it wrong because the scale will not always be an accurate depiction of what you actually are, right? So you want to make sure that you are defining progress in the right way. How are your fitness levels? Pay attention to that. That's exactly why I have you even track your fitness and your workouts in the app, because I can see one of the most amazing things I love to see is that I give you a workout at the beginning of your program and you rate it extremely hard. And then guess what? By month two, it goes to moderate. By month three, now it's easy. Now it's somewhat easy. And when we get to the end of the program, now it's pretty much a cakewalk for you. That shows me what? That shows me that regardless of what the scale said, you are making progress, right? And that's progress to be proud of. So understand that, right? This is a big one. How do you close fit? I've heard this from plenty of you. How do you close fit, right? Do you fit into those jeans that you couldn't fit in a few months ago? Do you fit into that dress a little more that you couldn't fit a few months ago, or maybe even a year ago? Right? How do you close fit? Are your shirts getting a little big? I've had literally plenty of you say, this is the gift and curse to this program is that I have to get a whole new wardrobe. I apologize for making you spend more money on clothes, but I like to call those good problems. Right? Those are good problems, getting a full new wardrobe. Plenty of you have had that experience, and it makes me laugh because it's just a funny experience to go through because I've went through that as well. But it makes me proud more than anything because it shows me it shows me that of course that you're making progress, but I also know the impact of that because I know how amazing that feels. I know how amazing it feels to fit into something that you couldn't fit in a few months ago. I know how amazing it feels to be able to say, I'm just going to do this whole different shopping spree to get new clothes because I'm a different person now. I know how amazing that feels. So recreating that feeling for you all is honestly, it's one of the best feelings in the world. But it's important to think about that. So even if that scale isn't going down, you can be able to look at your clothes and say, wow, my clothes are fitting a little better. Wow, this is not as tight anymore. Wow, I can actually close some of my jeans now, and it's not tight at all. Understand how do your clothes fit, right? But again, all these three things are amazing progress trackers that you can use to know that you're moving forward. Because what do I always say? One of the biggest, one of the biggest threats to progress, one of the biggest threats to your goals is not thinking that you're making progress. It's one of the biggest threats to your goals, right? It's not thinking that you're moving forward. So what happens is when you don't feel like you're moving forward, you lose optimism. You're not optimistic anymore. You're saying, oh no, why am I putting all this work? Why am I tracking all this food? Why am I drinking all this water if I'm not moving forward anyways? And then you give up. And what I always say, you only lose the day you say I'm done. You don't lose the day you miss a workout. You don't lose the day you forget to track your food. You don't lose the day you miss a coaching call. You lose the day you say, yeah, coach, I can't do no more. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out the game. I'm done. That is the day you lose. In order to avoid that day as much as possible, you need to know that you are moving forward. Right? And of course, as your coach, I'm always going to be here to show you, hey, I know your focus is going to scale so much, but if you don't realize you're actually about 3 inches down off your waist. Right? I know you think your weight is kind of stagnant for a while, but you don't realize since you started the program, you're actually about 10 pounds down. I'm here to show you that you are making progress, but it's important for you to know as well, because yes, I can tell you forever you're making progress, but you need to see it, because then when you see it, you have just as much as hope in me that I have in you. You have just as much as hope in yourself that I have in you, because I know you're going to succeed. If you're in this program, you're going to succeed. Right? It is my obligation to make sure you succeed, but I need you to believe that. So these are the progress markers that are going to show you, hey, okay, just because my scale isn't going down, that doesn't mean I'm not moving forward. It doesn't mean that I'm doing something wrong. That just means that I may be looking at progress a bit of the wrong way, right? I know this is a handful, but please put your questions in the YouTube chat. If you have any like random questions about anything I said today, because I know we talked about a lot, put your questions in the chat. I will answer them. If I don't get to them, if I don't answer them in YouTube, I'll probably just answer them in the Facebook group. Or let's say, if you want to, you can always just message me as well on WhatsApp if you had a specific question about something, and I can answer it there as well. All right. But again, please remember these things. Practice these things. Practice the awareness. Right. So, talk about one of the progress markers being how are you feeling. Practice the awareness of actually thinking, hey, how do I feel right now? And then when you think about how you feel right now, reflect on how you felt 3 months ago. Reflect on how you felt 6 months ago. Reflect on how you felt a year ago. When you get into that reflection mode, you realize, wow, I'm doing pretty good, right? You're not as hard on yourself. This is why this is so important. All right, so let me know in the chat, in the YouTube chat, what was your biggest takeaways from today's call? What did you need to be reminded of? What was just good to hear on Wednesday? What did you feel like you need to hear? Let me know what those biggest takeaways from for you are. I would absolutely love to hear them, and see what brought value to today. Again, I will post this in the course platform. I'll either post it in the course or the Facebook group, either one. I'll probably post it in both. But just know you will have the guide with you, so you can kind of just have it in your back pocket and just remind yourself, right? I always say, when you're on a personal growth journey, when you're on your personal development journey, you need to be reminded more than you need to be taught, right? You need to be reminded more than you need to be taught. And the best example of this is that we have members who have been here for a year and a half, and they get on some of our calls and they're like, wow, I really need to hear that. That was just perfect timing. And these are things that they probably heard me say when they first joined, right? But we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. A lot of us are just fishing for new information. We want new this, new workout plan, new this. We need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. So even if this call today gave you some reminders that were just healthy to hear, and I hope that it truly syncs with you and that you actually start to, not just know the information, but actually implement. Because remember, to know and not to do is the same thing as not knowing. To know and not to do is the same thing as not knowing at all. All right. Great call today. Again, hope you got some value. Let me know what brought you value today. Quick announcement. Next Monday, we will be kicking off a challenge specifically for the Academy. So look out for it. I'm going to be announcing it on Friday, Saturday, mostly Friday I'll announce it. But Monday, the challenge is going to start. You'll have all the details and everything. It will be a fun one. There will be some great prizes. So do not miss out. I promise you, you are going to love it. You're going to love it. All right. Again, I'm going to get to this conference now because it's actually about to start pretty soon. But I love you all. Have an amazing Wednesday, people. Go out there, kill it. If you need anything, again, I know we're not having calls this week, but if you need anything, again, we are having a Sunday call. All right, but we won't be having any coaching pods, for this week. So if you need anything, again, I will be available through WhatsApp all day, every day this week. So please let me know. I know I usually take Saturdays off, but because we're not having calls, I will be available on Saturday as well. So for those of you who have that all week access through WhatsApp, message me. I'll be happy to give you any support that you need for this week. All right. Have an amazing, amazing week. Let me know if you need anything. I'll talk to you all soon.